All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Haloyam Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakal Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so I have this article here for you. You know, it's not going to be a long video. I just want to get into some news, let you know what's going on, what's happening. All right, so you know what time we're living in. All right, we're living in a time where Yahweh Shai is getting ready to crack that sky. All right, because all the signs are here. All the prophecies are jumping out the scriptures like crazy. All right, so I just want to bring to you this news. All right, because if you know, you may or may not know what's happening or what's going on in the Middle East, man. All right, with the U.S. and Iran. All right, you know, tensions are rising crazy. All right, between the U.S. and Iran. All right, and this is the Lord that's making it happen. All right, because the Lord is the one that wants World War III to pop off. He's the one that's making World War III pop off. All right, because this is biblical prophecy. This is what the Lord said was going to happen. All right, and this is what the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord have been prophesying. All right, World War III is written all throughout the scriptures, man. And America's destruction is written all throughout the scriptures. And Esau, Edom's slavery and downfall and rulership, all right, coming to an end is all throughout the scriptures, man. All right, and you know the U.S. and Iran, all right, and Israel and Russia and all these nations play a major, great part in end time biblical prophecy. All right, in this third world war. All right, but anyway, let's get into some news. As you see at the top right here, it says February 10th, which is today. All right, 2026. All right, it says massive U.S. Air Force C-17 deployment, all right, to the Middle East and Europe. Yeah, over 100, all right, C-17s, all right, are being deployed to the Middle East, over 100. So the Lord is amping things up. Tensions are going crazy, man, right now. All right, and like I said, Iran and the U.S., all right, they play a major and great part in end time biblical prophecy in this third world war. All right, Iran is gonna have part in America's destruction in this third world war. All right, and there's also news going around, you know, because the scriptures say, what the Yahweh Shai say, there shall be wars, there shall be wars and rumors of wars, right? And you know, we're hearing rumors about, you know, you have Israel saying to the U.S., listen, if you don't strike Iran, we gonna strike Iran. You know, and that also goes into another prophecy. You know, the least of the flock shall draw them out. When you read Jeremiah, all right, Jeremiah 49, Jeremiah 50, and Jeremiah 51, all right, those chapters are talking about America's destruction. All right, you have a little part of Jeremiah 49 talking about, you know, America's destruction. And then you got Jeremiah 50 and 51, you know, those entire chapters are talking about America's destruction, being destroyed, all right, by Russia, you know, in his third world war. And I think it's Jeremiah 50 or 51 when it says the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock is talking about Israel. All right, you know, those Amalekites over there, all right, drawing out Babylon, all right, into this third world war. So they're saying, listen, if you don't strike them, we'll strike them. And you know, when Israel's involved in a war, all right, the U.S. has to be involved in the war because that the U.S. and Israel are allies. All right, so that's prophecy. The least of the flock shall draw them out. All right, so let's get into this news. It says massive U.S. Air Force C-17 deployment to the Middle East and Europe. Over it says over 100 military aircraft on the move. All right, as tensions with Tehran rise, which Tehran is Iran, right? So it says, let's continue reading. It says a stream of massive C-17 Globemaster III military transport aircraft has been observed en route to strategic bases in the region, fueling concerns that Washington may be laying the groundwork for a potential conflict with Iran. Yep. And guess who's allies with Iran? Russia. And guess who hates America? All right, Russia. Russia can't wait to nuke this place, and that is what exactly is going to happen. All right, according to biblical prophecy, and we know it's going to happen because it's prophecy, man. We've been telling y'all, man, out on the highways and hedges, that America's going to be destroyed, and it's mainly going to come from Russia. That's why Russia has the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. And not only the largest nuclear arsenal in the world, the most powerful nuclear bombs and nuclear missiles, man. Nuclear warheads, known as Satan 1 and Satan 2. Look at that. Right? Because that's the spirit of the Lord that has it like that to fulfill his word and prophecy. All right? It says the numbers tracked through publicly available flight data revealed a rapid, large-scale mobilization coinciding with an increasing fragile phase of diplomatic negotiations. All right. So it says, according to open source analysts, all right, such as Armchair Admiral and independent air traffic monitors, all right, over 110 U.S. Air Force C-17s have already arrived or are en route to the Middle East. Woo! All right, 110 of them. Woo! Over 110. All right, over 110. All right, it says with additional logistical missions underway. All right, these are accompanied by Royal Air Force flights between the UK's RAF Marham and RAF Rotary in Cyprus, all right, a key hub for operations in the Levant and Gulf, all right, which is the Middle East, all right. It says, or in that area over there, all right, we know the Levant is an area in the Middle East, all right, and the Gulf, I think, is talking about the Persian Gulf, right. It says the figures are significant not only for their volume, 110, all right, but also for the continuity of movement. Operations began in mid-January and show no signs of slowing. Yeah, the Lord is making things move, man. The Lord is not slowing things down. Things are moving. Prophecy is moving. All right, the scriptures say, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Right? It says, suggesting structured planning rather than a routine exercise. Yeah. Military capabilities at play. It says the C-17 Globemaster III, all right, is one of the most crucial logistical assets of U.S. military power. Each aircraft can carry over 77 tons of cargo. All right, 77 tons would be I think 77 plus 77, right? Or 77 times 2, and then you that turns into pounds. All right, so 77 tons of cargo, all right, including armored vehicles, missile systems, or hundreds of troops. It is designed to operate from short, austere runways, all right, with intercontinental range further extended by in-flight refueling. All right, it says these capabilities make the C-17 ideal for rapid force projection, all right, allowing the U.S. to reinforce forward bases, all right, stockpile equipment and deployment troops already in the region immediately. All right, historically, similar concentrations of assets have been observed prior to major military interventions, from 2003 invasion of Iraq to troop and Air Force buildups in Afghanistan during periods of escalation. All right, it says deployment comes as the U.S. and Iran have just concluded an initial round of indirect talks mediated by Oman. All right. Despite cautiously optimistic statements, the core issue remains unresolved. All right. It says Tehran refuses to negotiate on its ballistic missile program, which the White House considers an explicit regional threat. And really, it's because of Israel, man. It's really because of the elites. The elites are the ones that are causing this problem. Causing controversy between the Judaism world and the Muslim world, man. All this is coming from on high. The elites are creating this third world war. All right, why? Because it's part of the depopulation process, right? All these world wars that were created, World War I, World War II, and now World War III, were all created by the elites. You have something that's known as the Albert Pike and Mazzini blueprint, which this third world war is to be created. It's a blueprint on how to create 3 world wars, right? And the third world war was going to be created by bringing controversy and conflict between the Muslim world and the Judaism world, all right, to bring the rest of the world into this third world war, to a final conflict, because this third world war is going to be the war to end all wars. There's not going to be, because Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come, all right, during when these nuclear missiles are hitting this earth. He's going to add unto that fire. And when Yahweh Shai returns, there's not going to be any more wars on earth. All right, they shall learn war no more. This is going to be the war to end all wars. And when you read Isaiah the 9th chapter, the 5th verse, it says that this war, all right, shall be with burning and fuel of fire. You understand? All right, the elites have an agenda, man, to bring forth a new world order. And part of that new world order is a depopulation process, man. All right, because the less people there are, all right, the easier it is to control. All right, so the elites are creating this war, all right, to reel in money, all right, and to depopulate. Because their whole plan is to what? When you look at the Georgia Guidestones, all right, it's to bring the population down to 500 million. That's part of the one of the plans of the Georgia Guidestones, right? All right, when you read it, all right, I think that's the very first one to not, if I'm not mistaken. All right, it says which the White House considers an explicit regional threat. All right, it says Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, all right, has suggested that the U.S. force buildup may serve more to buy time than to advance a diplomatic solution, raising doubts about the Trump administration's genuine negotiating intent. All right, previously, Araghchi warned that a U.S. attack would not directly strike Iranian soil, but would drag the entire region into conflict. Yeah. All right, through retaliatory strikes on American bases stationed in the Middle East. All right. Over the past 20 years, periods of heightened tensions between the U.S. and Iran have often been accompanied by visible increases in force in the Persian Gulf between 2019 and 20. All right, following the killing of General Qasem Soleimani, all right, Washington deployed thousands of troops and aircrafts in just a few weeks. All right, so you see what's going on, man. The Lord is going to keep heightening these tensions and creating these tensions, man, to fulfill his word, bro. Things are not going to get better, all right? You got these Christian pastors, all right, in these churches, right? You go to see on Sunday, all right, you wacky-tacky Christians, right? Your pastor's talking about, oh, everything's going to be okay. God bless America. Nothing is going to happen. No. All right, the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord always spoke about war and prophesied of war and destruction of evils to come, man. All right, and that's exactly what the true prophets of the Lord are doing today. They have we not been prophesying the downfall and the destruction of America, have we not been prophesying World War III and hell and chaos and mourning and death and destruction unto you, man? Now you just keep seeing it to pass, day in and day out, how the Lord is just creating these tensions, man. All right, now this news is not also, now this news is not just only coming from this article. You also have many news outlets reporting on it. All right, but I also, have it here from you. Even AI is letting you know. All right, it says as of February 2026, reports indicate a significant U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, with over 100 to 110 C-17 strategic airlifters, all right, and other transport aircraft reported in the region. So you have over 110, bro. All right, C-17 strategic airlifters and other transport aircraft reported in the region, the Middle East. All right, to surge, it says this surge is part of a broader, rapid increase in U.S. air power, all right, including F-35 fighters and refuelers amid rising tensions with Iran. All right, and we've been telling you, Iran plays a major part in end-time biblical prophecy, plays a major part in this third world war prophecy, man. All right, Iran in the Bible is known as Persia and also known as the Carmanians. And it tells you that, the Carmanians are going to come forth raging in wrath like the wild boars in the woods. And they're going to strike a portion of the land of the Assyrians, man, which is America. All right. It says massive airlifts. All right. It says report from February 7, all right, to 10, 2026 suggests more than 100 to 112 C-17 Globemaster 3 heavy lift cargo planes have entered the region, likely delivering equipment, air defenses, and logistical supplies. That's a lot of aircraft, bro. All right. It says the deployment is viewed as a setting the force initiative to provide options for potential strikes against Iran. So groundwork is being laid out, man. All right. See, we're living in that time that Yahweh Shai spoke about. There shall be wars and rumors of wars, bro. The Lord, bro, man, I can't even. The way things are going right now, the tensions are moving, man. All right. The Lord is making things move crazy fast. All right. It says alongside the cargo planes, F-35A Lightning II stealth fighters, all right, deployed from the 158th Fighter Wing and KC-135 Stratotankers have been tracked heading toward or operating in the area. Bro, wars, but bro, come on. Shit about to get real hectic out here. All right, it says the movement follows threats of military action against Iran, and as of late January 2026, the arrival of a U.S. aircraft carrier in the region. It says the surge constitutes a major increase in American military presence, characterized as being on a similar scale to previous regional crisis. All right, so to bring you, this news to let you know what's happening, what's going on, man. So you're not living under a rock. What time we're living in, man. The time that the prophets and of the true prophets of the Lord have been prophesying about, man. The time that Yahweh Shai prophesied and told us about, man. And that we've been telling you, man. The prophets on the highways and hedges, man. The Israelites of great millstone and the ones that teach in like manner. All right. So like I said, man, just to bring you this news to let you know what's happening, what's going on, man. All right. So with that being said, call Halalyam, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. All right, on to the next one, Shalom.